Hello Team FD and welcome back to Winners and Losers, where we look at the highs and lows from the football week just past, and it was the international break, but Patrick Van Straten's here, so, you know, things weigh themselves out, don't they? How was your weekend?
Oh, tip top, so good. There was no football, because this doesn't count as football. Yeah, great. How about you?
Please do stick with us. I watched Aquaman, and I've got to say, surprisingly good.
Mayhem.
So, you know, anyone riding a seahorse holding a, what's it called, big fork,
Trident.
is good by me.
Jason Momoa, mate.
Yeah.
Woof.
What an absolute piece. Anyway, talking of pieces, Cristiano Ronaldo. Not sure if I rate him or not, actually. Batish, 99, looking-wise. I mean, football-wise,
We rate Batish, though. Batish is an OG. He's an FD OG. Anyway, Ronaldo got his 699th career goal. A chip in Portugal's 3-0 victory over Luxembourg. Apparently good enough to put you in the winners. The other goals coming from Bernardo Silva and Gonzalo Guedes. When he gets his 700th, he will be level with Ferenc Puskás, a much better player, and he'll be joint 6th in the all-time list. He could also get up to 5th feasibly over the next year because Gerd Muller's on 711. So he could really work his way up the list. He's 29 goals ahead of Leo Messi, so probably will be behind by the end of the season. And of course, he's 16 months older, so we'd expect that Messi's going to make that difference up. But generally speaking, a pretty routine win for Portugal. They're incredibly good at just grinding out these wins against like pretty rubbish sides. They had 61% possession, 22 shots with 10 on target. Luxembourg had 6 with 2 on target, which is, you know, not great. Anyway, obviously their place at next year's tournament, pretty secure. They're 5 points behind unbeaten Ukraine. Unbeaten on the pitch anyway. Unbeaten. Less so geopolitically. But 4 ahead of Serbia, and there are 3 games left to play. Anyway, if they get a win in Kiev tonight, then they will qualify, or if Serbia fail to beat Lithuania, but it feels like Serbia will beat Lithuania.
What a tie that'll be. Compelling.
I can't wait to watch that.
But what's that I hear? You want to know more about Luxembourg's manager, Luc Holtz, because things aren't looking so rosy for him, are they, Van Straten? 1, he's in charge of Luxembourg. 2, they've only won 1 of their last 6 games, which is a 2-1 victory over Lithuania in March.
That's better than I thought their record would be.
Reasons to be positive, though, yes, especially considering...
Oh, they've only won 1 of 6. Who are they? Luxembourg. It's pretty
especially
decent.
considering records for sides we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show. Reasons to be positive, they do have an incredibly young squad. So whilst trying to build something, Patrick, with an average age of 21.4 in the midfield.
Great, probably win the World Cup.
Specifically the midfield. Portugal's form, meanwhile, continues to be pretty darn good, like you said. They followed up their Nations League win in June with 12 goals in 3 games against Serbia, Lithuania, and now Luxembourg, belying their reputation as a boring side that grind out victories.
But they are.
But yeah, largely. Thanks in large, like we said, to 34-year-old talisman who now has 6 goals in 5 qualifying games. Ronaldo makes that a ridiculous 94 in 161 games for his country. Just 15 behind Iran's.
Ali Dai.
Correct, all the points. Pretty bloody solid squad. They're currently 7th favourites. Could they become just the 2nd team to win back-to-back Euros, Van Straten?
Nah.
Vote in the poll just above. Do you rate him?
Next up, Sankish 2 has our first losers of the week. And hilariously, it's England.
England. Yeah, last time we covered England, it was can they win the Euros? And this time round, is it are we back to square one? Which is kind of always the narrative, isn't it? But anyway, let's unpick this game because England's long unbeaten run in qualifiers came to an end against the Czechs at the Sanibo Stadium. Actually, the first time England have lost a qualifier in 10 years.
Wow.
Which maybe says more about the qualifiers than England, despite taking the lead through Harry Kane's penalty. Who was that last defeat to, by the way? Do you know? You do know because it's in the script. Don't say it. Do you know? Let us know in the comments below. But continuing with the game, Raheem Sterling was brought down after 5 minutes and Kane converted his 20th goal as captain. I included this stat because 1, I know you like the concept of captains. And 2, I know you like Harry Kane scoring penalties.
The concept of captains.
Yeah, you think it's overrated, don't you?
I'm fine with the idea of captains.
All right, well, you're always sniggering at it.
No, I'm not.
Okay, fine, we'll continue then.
We've
just fallen out live on camera.
So he scored a penalty?
Yeah, he scored a penalty.
Shocked.
Horror.
Shocked.
Vivian Woodward was the last person to score as many goals while wearing the armband. and his last run out as captain was 1911. So we
that a
were
strong
struggling
period?
for stats on this game.
Was that a good time?
I mean, not shortly after. But yeah, World Wars. Poor from then on in. England faced 10 plus shots in the first half. Only the second time in 78 matches that's happened. The other being against Spain, so slightly more reputable opposition. Particularly worrying in this match that they were so porous, given that Southgate actually played two at the base of midfield, with Henderson and Rice starting this game. That was likely a result of shipping 3 against Kosovo, wasn't it? Still conceded 10 shots in the box despite this slightly more defensive formation. The likes of Patrick Schick and Vladimir Darida running riot. And the former only has 27 minutes of league football this season for RB Leipzig? Yes, Leipzig. And both of them still managed to outshoot Sterling and Sancho. So wrap your head around that one. England's double pivot only putting in 1 tackle between them as well. Only attempted 2 all game, so got nowhere near. Didn't complete an interception either. And Henderson's pass accuracy was 67%. Comfortably the worst out of the 10 midfielders on the pitch that night. Euros is pretty near, isn't it? Worrying.
I mean, worrying for you. But I think England will probably be fine. Like, I mean, maybe it was a little bit arrogant to be as experimental as it seems Southgate was in this game. It's the first time he's played a 4-2-3-1 in 2 years, like you say. Experimented with Henderson and Rice alongside each other and played Mount, his first international start. Played in the number 10 role, pretty uninvolved. Did create 2 chances, which was a team high, but that kind of shows how bad chance creation was overall as a team, because 2 key passes, not all that much. Obviously, they suffered a bit here from James Maddison being sent home with a virus. I guess we could ask you in a little poll, who would you start at number 10 for England, Mount or Maddison? Let us know right above my head now. But there are a few people who are perhaps a little bit lucky to be in the starting 11. I mean, like Mount, fair enough, like he's been on good form with Chelsea. But Rose over Chilwell, Trippier starting over Trent Alexander-Arnold, who almost certainly would have helped with creativity.
For sure.
It does seem a little bit kind of old school, or a little bit like a team picking itself and not necessarily the best team. Rose didn't complete a tackle, Trippier didn't lay on a chance. It was a little bit of a surprise, I guess, because the reverse fixture was 5-0, and they've scored at least 4 in every other game prior to this. But this is now being talked about as the worst match of the Southgate era, or the worst performance, I should say. They're still not making very many chances in open play, of course. That was an accusation levelled at them during the World Cup. Yankto and Darida laid on as many key passes as the whole England 11 combined. So creativity a little bit of an issue right now. I think there's still enough talent there that this shouldn't be a problem. Like, there's definitely a line-up which resolved this issue, but who would you go for? What would your starting 11 be for England if you wanted them to win, not if you wanted them to get knocked out in the group stage of the Euros? Let us know in the comments below.
I'd take the semi. And if you're not a member of Team FD, before we go any further, hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on to never miss an episode of Winners and Losers. Let's dive straight in with our last winner. It's Italy, and this comes from @Siva the God. What have they only gone and bloody done?
They've secured their spot at next year's
Forza.
Euros by
Italy.
beating Greece 2-0 in front of a home crowd. Now, goals came from Jorginho, who got a penalty after an Andreas Bouchalakis handball, and then Bernardeschi doubled the score with a long-range effort on the 78th minute, placating the crowd, who had actually booed their team off at half-time after they failed to have a single shot on target in the first period. The Italians will finish top of Group J with 21 points, 9 points clear of second place Finland, and 16 points clear of their opponents on the night, who will now need a miracle to make qualifications. A miracle.
I need a miracle.
This is a rubbish group, by the way.
Yeah.
Italy, Finland, Greece, garbage. Anyway, the Azzurri have actually been very, very good under Roberto Mancini. An interesting kind of change for them to go for such an attacking coach. They got 7 wins in 7 in their group games, 8 in all competitions. That's 1 short of a record set by Vittorio Pozzo's side in 1938. Anyway, they'll be absolutely delighted to make it to a major tournament. Obviously failed to qualify for the 2018 World Cup in a hilarious fashion when they lost to Sweden 2 years ago. So it will actually be good to see a more attacking, more fun Italy back at an international tournament after years of them being complacent and boring.
It will. I'm still laughing at the fact it says it'll bring joy to the nation in the script. Apparently Sam Obaseki now writing propaganda for Italy. So there we go. Jorginho continued his impressive form. Let's talk about him. With a commanding display from the middle of the park, he's now got 3 goals for the Italy national team.
Whoa.
All of them from the penalty spot.
Amazing.
Probably should take them for Chelsea. He also completed the most deep progressions on the pitch, which is not shocking because that's what he's very, very good at. Although their defence not really tested. Greece had 8 shots, only putting 1 on target. Donnarumma might as well have just laid vertically across the goal and had a wee nap. They only had 29 possession, the Greeks, and managed to record 274 passes in the process. That's 400 less than the Italians. They might as well have not turned up, to be perfectly honest. Can still mathematically qualify, but the likelihood is very low. They have to win all 3 of their final games against Bosnia and Herzegovina, Armenia and Finland. And other results have to go their way. So they need a miracle. Long gone are the days of Karagounis, Zacharakis, Delphin, Fingus, I think.
I don't even know who you're thinking of.
Salpingidis.
Oh, that's great. Our second and final losers of the week are controversially Scotland. This comes from a guy whose name is like Weghorst is 6'6", which is factually true. And also factually true that Scotland have had a horrific week.
Yeah, I mean, it's got down here that they've had a shocking weekend for sport in general. Little to my knowledge, they crashed out of the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, that was great. They were really worried that they weren't going to get to play their final group game against Japan because of the typhoon. But then the game did go ahead, but then they lost to Japan.
I just don't care. Why does Henry keep putting rugby-related stuff in the script? It's like we've just cloned Doogie.
It's more interesting than their football team.
I mean,
Kieran
yes.
Tierney, some other blokes.
Steve Clarke, things not exactly going as planned underneath the former West Brom manager and Chelsea coach. And that's the extent of my knowledge on Steve Clarke. Actually managed Kilmarnock as well quite successfully.
Very dull man.
Pretty unsuccessful at the moment in the Scotland national setup. Being humbled 4-0 away to Russia. It's left them in 4th place in Group I, and the result means that Scotland have lost 4 consecutive qualifying matches for the first time since 2004, when I believe they were sponsored by Safeway.
I'm amazed it's been that long ago.
Yeah.
What, they had a sponsor
At some
on their
point.
kit?
I think it might have just been a training kit or the top that they wear before the game. All I remember is Scotland being sponsored by Safeway and thinking that's like the 5th or 6th best supermarket chain.
It would be amazing if they turned up to like a major tournament with like a sponsor and it was Safeway. And everybody else was like, we don't do that at international level. And they were like, that's where we got our own brew though.
Ironic, because, you know, this isn't the safe way to qualify, is it really? They've been leapfrogged by Minnows Cyprus in their group, leaving them a challenge to even finish 4th at the moment. Clearly one of their issues is a lack of an attacker, and I actually think if someone offered you just a decent forward for one of the left backs, I think if you're the Scotland team manager and you could trade in this hypothetical situation, you'd have to do it.
You trade Robertson though.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, to put into context their struggles in front of goal, when Russian forward Artem Daizuba opened the scoring to register 23rd for his country, that number is as many as the entire Scotland squad have managed combined.
That might just be that they're young.
Daizuba for Scotland, I don't think they are.
Nah. John McGinn, though, he got a hat-trick, didn't he, against San Marino? Good for him. I mean, not that it matters because it's San Marino. But it's not really the attack. Well, the attack is an issue. But the defence is conceding an average of 2.8 goals a game. So what I'm saying is they're bad across the board. Russia are only 10 places ahead of them in the world rankings, but have still battered them twice in qualifying. Where do they get their energy from, the Russians? And they've also, of course, been comfortably beaten by Belgium, apparently the world's #1 side. Are they? 3-0 and 4-0 in qualifying. So I suppose maybe it will improve the mood around the camp that they got that 6-0 victory over San Marino.
You don't believe that?
No, I don't at all, because it's just like, it doesn't matter, does it? I'm actually amazed they haven't lost 4 consecutive qualifying games on the trot more recently than 2004. They're horrendous. Their squad's so bad. They've got 3 players, and I'm being kind of generous in counting John McGinn in there. Like, they're just a bunch of guys running around a field, but they just seem tired.
Bring back James McFadden. The glory years
What,
of
from
beating
Westlife?
France home and away.
I don't know who that
stick
is.
Brian on there as well.
Who's James McFadden?
Do you remember when Scotland beat France
Matthew
home
McFadden.
and away and still didn't qualify?
No.
Well, they were the glory years, and you've blocked them out.
Well done.
More to your.
Well done, Scotland.
Loss.
Think about those times. Anyway.
Was that the end of the show, or have we got some shout-outs? I think we have some shout-outs.
Probably need to breed some better footballers, Scotland. That's my advice to you.
Yeah, or just steal English ones more wisely. Let's smash through these special mentions then, because they're not much better than the content that came beforehand. Andorra moved off the bottom of Group H after slapping up Moldova.
Whoa.
Hells yeah, winning their first qualifier in 56 games. That actually equates to 23 years. No, it doesn't. It's their third competitive victory in 23 years. They're currently ranked 139th. In fact, it's only their 7th win in total since joining FIFA/UEFA in 1996. Who else deserves a special mensch?
Sergio Ramos became the all-time cap holder for Spain with 168 caps. In fact, he's now got more caps than any other European footballer.
Apart from Buffon.
Right now. I mean, who's playing right now?
All right, fair.
Idiot.
Wow.
Actually, good thing you corrected that because I wasn't sure. Anyway, Spain could only draw 1-1 with Norway. I know Josh King scored in that game and Saul got the other one. Anyway, Sergio Ramos made his debut in 2004 and he could well break the international record of 184 caps, which is held by Ahmed Hassan of Egypt, if he continues to keep going after next year's Euros. And I think we all hope that will happen because we all love Sergio Ramos. I can't wait for him to retire.
Why?
I'm just bored of him.
Yeah.
Just had enough of him.
It depends what haircut he's got,
Get Mario Hermoso in.
because sometimes he looks sick.
No, he doesn't. He's never looked sick in his
Like,
life.
like peak Val Kilmer.
He looks like a horse that's been only half turned into a man.
So that's winners and losers international break over for at least another 2 or 3 weeks, because it's back sooner than you expect. And England actually play tonight against Bulgaria, don't they? If they can, see out the whole game without any untoward things happening. Let us know what you think the result might be in the comments below.
Your presenter voice is absolutely out of control right now.
Thank you. I'm really,
Hi guys.
artificial enthusiasm, isn't it? Like I said, let us know the results in the comments below and we'll definitely check them out. He loves fan engagement. You love getting that off pat, it being reciprocated. This is awful. Can you just say something so we can
Bye.
go?
We'll see you next time. Yeah, see ya.